Every night, he drags a different girl to my room, to my bed, whenever I'm
involved. You dig what I mean? But the signs were there.
Ain't funny anymore, Desmond. You probably heard famous TikTok couple Christy and Desmond Scott are filing for divorce. Well, she has filed and apparently it's over in
Christy is divorcing Desmond on account of alleged cheating. Christy confirms the minute she found out he was cheating, she said there was no way of reconciliation with
Christy. Christy, are those tongues? Christy!
Like his personality, like that is his personality to be over the top like that. So I think
over the top. Look at that.
Like, I know nobody's perfect, but like Christy and Desmond was as close as it got to perfect. This is crazy. This is insane. Who do I talk to about this? Somebody. Help.
Social media star couple Christy and Desmond Scott are calling it quits, with Christy filing for divorce, citing alleged infidelity. TMZ obtained the court docs out of Harris County, Texas, where Christy cites this alleged infidelity for the reason for their split. She said it completely wiped out any reasonable chance of reconciliation. The paperwork says the two will soon stop living together as husband and wife, which is especially sad because they met at age 14, got married in 2014, and have 2 sons together. They built their brand on joint content videos showcasing family chaos, prank videos, and home renovations. Additionally, they own Meant to Be Films, a production company centered on wedding videography and storytelling, and it's unclear right now what will happen to this business post-divorce. We reached out to reps for both Christy and Desmond. So far, no word, but we will keep you updated.
What really makes a woman walk away from a decade-long marriage? 2 kids, millions on the line, and a picture-perfect internet fairy tale, without even attempting to fix it. Because when Christy Scott filed for divorce from her high school sweetheart Desmond, she didn't hesitate, didn't negotiate, and didn't look back. One discovery was enough to end everything, and the internet has been spiraling ever since, trying to figure out what she saw, who she caught him with, and why this breakup feels so final it shocked even their most loyal fans. It takes a lot to end a marriage, but it takes something huge to end it without a conversation, without counseling, without even a pause. Imagine throwing away over a decade of love, shared memories, 2 children, a family brand, and millions of dollars in one clean, irreversible move. No second chances, no public back and forth, just straight to court. That's exactly what happened here. And that's why this story has people glued to their screens. Because whatever was discovered didn't just hurt feelings, it wiped out any possibility of forgiveness. Something so final, so shocking, that reconciliation wasn't even discussed. And now the internet is asking the same question on a loop. What do you have to catch your partner doing for it to be that over? This wasn't a slow, messy unraveling played out over months. There was no "we're working on things" phase, no vague statements about growing apart. One moment, everything looked normal. The next moment, divorce papers were filed and the door slammed shut. The kind of ending that makes people rewind old videos, rewatch smiles, and wonder how long the truth had been hiding in plain sight. Because when someone walks away this decisively, especially with kids involved, it suggests the betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was identity-shattering. The kind of discovery that changes how you see the person sleeping next to you. The kind that makes staying impossible. What's haunting people most is the silence around the details. No clear explanation. No softened language. Just a firm line drawn in the sand. There is no fixing this. And when a relationship built on public love and family suddenly collapses overnight, that silence becomes louder than any statement. It invites speculation, suspicion, and 1,000 unanswered questions. Was it one mistake or many? Was this something new or something that had been hidden for years? And why did this particular truth end everything so fast? This is why the story feels less like a breakup and more like a mystery. Because marriages don't usually end like this unless the foundation was cracked in a way no one could ignore anymore. Whatever came to light wasn't just a scandal. It was a deal breaker of the highest order. And until the full picture comes out, people will keep asking the same chilling question. What would you have to discover to leave your entire life behind without looking back? For years, Kristy and Desmond weren't just a couple online. They were the couple. The kind of love story people pointed to as proof that relationships could survive fame, money, and the internet. They met as teenagers, grew up together, married young, and built an entire digital empire off being in love. Viewers watched them prank each other, renovate their home, raise their kids, and laugh their way through chaos like it was effortless. Their brand wasn't just romance, it was longevity. High school sweethearts who beat the odds, turned family life into content, and made it look fun, profitable, and unbreakable. That's why this split landed the way it did. When a couple sells forever for years and then implodes overnight, it doesn't just disappoint people, it unsettles them. And then came the moment everything changed. Not a long separation, not a quiet trial period, not even a public attempt at repair. Kristy made one move, and it was decisive. Divorce filed. Reconciliation off the table. Living together no longer an option. Whatever she discovered ended the marriage instantly. And that reaction alone told people more than any official statement ever could. When someone who's invested over a decade, built a family, and tied their income to a relationship still refuses to work things out, it signals a level of betrayal that crosses a personal point of no return. The focus wasn't on explaining what happened. It was on getting out as fast and as cleanly as possible. That's when the internet did what it always does, filled in the silence. With no detailed explanation offered, speculation started spreading, fueled by how fast everything fell apart. People questioned whether this was a one-time mistake or something deeper, something that explained why forgiveness wasn't even considered. Others zeroed in on the mystery surrounding the alleged partner, wondering who or what could cause such an immediate and irreversible response. The lack of clarity didn't slow the conversation. It supercharged it. Every old clip, every joke, every moment of awkwardness suddenly felt like potential evidence in hindsight. As the dust settled, the imbalance became impossible to ignore. Kristy walked away with the majority of the audience, the sympathy and the support. Her platforms dwarf his, and public opinion followed the numbers. Brand-wise, reputation-wise, and financially, the fallout hit unevenly. While she remains positioned to thrive independently, his image is now tied to the collapse of the very family brand that made him relevant. In the court of public opinion, that shift happened fast. And it's one of the reasons this story feels less like a mutual split and more like a complete unraveling. Now people are rewinding the tape, noticing things they swear they missed the first time. Comments resurfaced about disengagement, jealousy, and subtle changes in energy that didn't stand out until everything fell apart. Fans point to moments where enthusiasm faded, where affection felt forced, where effort seemed uneven. At the time, it looked like normal long-term relationship fatigue. In hindsight, people are wondering if those were cracks forming long before the break. That retrospective lens pulls viewers deeper into the story, because it makes them feel like the truth was hiding in plain sight all along, and they're only just now learning how to see it. What makes this situation heavier than typical influencer breakups is what's actually at risk beyond the relationship itself. This wasn't just a marriage. It was a business partnership, a family operation, and a brand built entirely on togetherness. Their content revolved around unity, parenting as a team, building a home together, growing side businesses together. They didn't just share a life. They shared income streams, contracts, and long-term plans. Untangling that isn't simple, especially when kids are involved. Co-parenting now replaces couple content, and every decision moving forward has to account for children who didn't sign up to become collateral damage in a very public fallout. That alone raises the emotional stakes, because this split doesn't end when the cameras turn off. It reshapes daily life, finances, and futures. There's also the question of what happens to the business they built side by side. When your brand is rooted in us, divorce doesn't just end a relationship, it destabilizes the product itself. Audiences don't know what survives once the couple doesn't. And that uncertainty is part of why people are watching so closely. This isn't just about heartbreak. It's about whether a carefully constructed empire can survive when its foundation collapses. The reality is someone walks away with momentum, and someone walks away scrambling to redefine themselves outside of the partnership that made them relevant. Now, here's where the line needs to be drawn clearly. What we know is straightforward. Divorce papers were filed, alleged infidelity was cited, and reconciliation was explicitly taken off the table. Living together is no longer happening. That much is documented. What we don't know is the nature of the betrayal, the timeline, or the identity of anyone else involved. Kristy hasn't detailed what she found or how she found it. And that silence is exactly what's fueling the speculation. When facts stop, theories rush in. People aren't reacting to confirmed details. They're reacting to the speed, the severity, and the lack of explanation. And that's what keeps this story alive. Not answers, but absence. When someone chooses not to clarify, every possibility feels plausible to the public. Was this the final straw after years of quiet issues? Or was it one shocking discovery that shattered everything instantly? Was the marriage already emotionally over long before the legal end? Or did one moment truly change everything overnight? Those unanswered questions are why the conversation hasn't slowed down, and why people keep revisiting old moments, searching for meaning that may or may not have been there. So it all circles back to the same uncomfortable question that started this story in the first place. What do you have to uncover for a decade-long marriage, shared kids, shared businesses, and a shared identity to end with zero hesitation? Do you believe this was a sudden implosion? Or do you think the marriage had been quietly falling apart long before the paperwork was filed?